Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Zodiac Trial. Letztes Mal hat Snake gegen Dog gekämpft und, wie ich finde, auf einem extrem großen Regelverstoß von Brian, meiner Meinung nach, hat Snake leider die Kürzung gezogen und ist von uns gegangen. Aber wir haben ihn gerecht, denn wir haben den Hund gezähmt, nachdem wir zuerst gegen den Hund verloren haben. Aber am Ende haben wir trotzdem gewonnen, denn am Ende haben wir einen auf Suicide Squad gemacht und ihn mit uns mitgerissen, wodurch wir aber, glaube ich, auch Dragon, Ox, Tiger und Horse mitgenommen haben. Sorry? Passiert. Monkey? Rooster? Pig? Sheep. Sheep? Wo ist Sheep eigentlich die ganze Zeit? Und Rooster? Er ist noch nie so ruhig gewesen bisher. Wo ist Rooster überhaupt? Keine Ahnung. Und jetzt haben wir ein schönes Gespräch mit Dog. Denn er ist ein bisschen seltsam drauf. Ihm scheint das Leben nicht so zu interessieren. You sound like an emo teen. A generous comparison, I'd say. But take it from someone WH. This isn't just a phase. It's an observation made from actual life experience. As a cop, I ran into so many cases. So much violence, so much death. And the more cases you see, the more you realize how pointless they all are. Some kid who grew up in an unwinnable position. Some ridiculous accident that leads to the perfect murder opportunity. Some vengeful bankrupt business owner screwed by a deal and a random fluctuation on the market. There's no rhyme or reason to any of it. People die, people kill, people live for a reason all entirely beyond our control. And it was the people who felt the need to be in the most control who get fucked over the hardest. Aww. And the police? The ones trying to control the chaos. Turns out the chief of them was too busy blackmailing his subordinate to do his job properly. Dog, what are you talking about? The chief of police, Bowen, blackmailing his subordinates? No way to stop him. Part of the reason why I quit, opened the bar. And as a bartender, you hear a lot of stories from bitter drunkards. More tales of arbitrary suffering in a ridiculous world. Perhaps this is all a bit too nihilistic for you all, a bit too dramatic. But that's because you all haven't had your number called on Hell's Roulette. Step in the shoes of those who have experienced it enough times and you'll start seeing what I'm talking about. Hence, I decided a long time ago, clinging too much to anything is a wash. Best to focus on enjoying the present, all else be damned. Well, I guess I didn't really commit to that decision, seeing as how this all turned out. You still haven't explained yourself. I wonder how much Brian knows. Huh? I can't possibly think it's a coincidence that this is a case that sparked a huge death game. No, that's way too random. I mean, what are the odds that a case that spawns a mass kidnapping just so happens to be the case that Bowen's been secretly investigating for years now? Bowen's been investigating it? Then are you saying... No, don't get me wrong. Morris is clearly guilty. That's been proven 7 ways to hell and back. We just don't know everything about it. I guess most will chalk up Bowen's secret obsession to the fact that it was his older brother that got murdered. Oh wow! Neuigkeiten! I mean, he was in a real state on the 11th that it happened. But that's not it at all, trust me. Then what is it? Instead of answering, Doug leaped down and reached into his boot. Out of his left shoe, he took out an intricate golden knife. What are you doing? You know, this was a gift from Bowen. Bowen's not a good man, but we're friends nonetheless. Neat. The knife is actually part of a pair. It is an identical twin, you could say. The knife is also quite intricately designed. If you press down here and here, Doc pressed down on parts of the handle. The base of the knife popped down, revealing a small compartment. You're gonna need a little hidey hole. I keep the knife on me at all times, so by extension, I keep whatever stored in the hidey hole on me all the time. For a while, it was a wall of $100 bills. But recently, I changed it to this. Doc reached in and pulled out a small metal capsule. What was that? He held it in one hand, and with his other, he started to screw it. And then... all I could see is white. Was that a fucking flashbang? Why would he set it off? I heard a movement in front of me, rapid movement. But my ears heard a high, whining noise which I knew in reality wasn't there. I was so disoriented I couldn't react. Someone was close to me. It was probably Dog rushing me. Fuck. Time felt like I was slowed down. I couldn't do anything to react. Then bang. It took a couple of seconds longer for my eyes to react. When I came back, I saw Dog lying on the side of where I stood. He was face down, holding his knife in his left hand, with a bullet hole through the back of his head. He was clearly sprinting towards me with a knife. Werden erschossen. Ochs! Ah, Dragon! Woo! Way! Dragon, in front of me, held a pistol with her hands shaking. She must have reacted fast enough to save me. But if Dog had died, the worried look on Dragon's face told me that this realization had also dawned on Dragon. Dragon, Before I could hear anything, I heard several ugly noises. Tiger, horse, dragon, and ox all cried out in pain. Their knees buckled. They scratched at their throat. They shouted through their bleeding vocal cords. All of the collars had been activated. All of them had been executed. It was a horrifying sight. With one bullet, 5 were dying. I just stood there, frozen. What could I do to save them? Nothing. All I was left with was not grief, no horror, no anger, but utter confusion. What was Doc after just then? Why would he try to kill me, knowing he would kill him, and then kill the other 4? I couldn't think of a single good reason. I just stood there. It didn't take long for all the bodies to hit the floor. Bunny and snake. Dog. Horse. Tiger. Dragon. Ox. 7 people lay dead around me. It was a graveyard. Guys, I'm a freaking god tier investigator. What? Because I found so I have some questions. The survivors scattered in the cafeteria when all was said and done. When Doc fired the gun, Sheep, Monkey, and Pig hid in the classroom down the hall. Whether they were smart of them or cowardly is dealer's choice. Either way, let them survive. While the rest of us were at each other's throat, Russo obviously continued to search for minor trinkets. He ended up finding most of the minor trinkets, as well as a number of major trinkets too. Plus, with the constant pausing of the timer, it was still around 4 after all the time. Both traitors, Doc and Bunny, were dead, so there was nothing to worry about. It was entirely smooth sailing to a joint victory. In the end, 5 people would get to escape unharmed. There wasn't the worst outcome ever, all things considered. At least I got out alive. But that scene, I could still see those 4 convulsing in absolute pain and terror. I'd never be able to forget that. And Doc too. I'd never able to forget him. Nor would I be able to understand him. He went on a taming spree, was seemingly unconcerned upon losing, dropped a bunch of hefty accusations, then mid-explanation tried to knife me? What was his goal? If Dragon hadn't shot him, I'd be... Well, I couldn't think about that. I didn't have to think about any of this. I was free. Screw Doc. Screw Bunny. Oh, was? Screw Dragon? Screw Ox? Okay, das geht zu weit. Screw the Jade Emperor. Screw Brian. I wasn't going to think about any of them again after this. Why should I? I never had a good reason to be here in the first place. I just lived my life like this never happened. That was feasible, right? In the end, the escapees were myself, Sheep, Monkey, Rooster, and Pig. Queen of Spades. If the second car is found in the first 3 rounds, Dog will be assigned a role that forced him to act. If a man of his talent and temperament finds the taming whip, he will definitely make good use of it. Dog's the type to take as many people under control as possible. While far from the smartest, when it comes to pure gambling, experience will give him a pure edge. But that can only take him so far. Eventually he'll lose, and when he does, he's liable to burn the whole place down. The nature of gambling is uncertain. Well, less certain than most things in the world. This isn't a particularly attractive route to choose. Sorry? Aber hey! Ich habe wenigstens das erste Mal überlebt! Ja! Überlebt! Ich lebe! Okay. Ich muss mal kurz zurückgehen, weil irgendwo am Anfang habe ich noch eine Entscheidung getroffen, wo ich entscheiden kann, ob ich intervene oder nicht. Das war... Warte. Also will ich es machen, damit ich einfach weiß, dass ich... Nein, das habe ich schon getan. Da habe ich verloren. Dann 4, 5, nein, load, yes. Make a run for it. Ah, genau, das war, als er uns versucht hat, als die anderen versucht haben, uns zu fangen. Make a run for it. I couldn't trust Bunny with that sort of power. I had already seen what I could do. No, I had to be the one to use it. While everyone was just standing around, still frozen, I needed to make the first move. I ran towards the nearest door. However, my path put me in close proximity to Horse. My movement broke into standstill. As I tried to run past him, he grabbed into my arm like a vice. Oh no! I immediately grabbed my choice as he swung me around with surprise ease and slammed me into the nearby wall. My bones crackled, my head spun, my ears rang. Just at that, I was already disoriented. But I was aware enough to see Horse coming towards me, about to do another hit to my head. It was a smart move. Incapacitate some of the weaker variables before starting any hard fights. But over to the side, Tiger was rushing at Horse. Surely she'd slam into him before he could keep me right. I held onto the hope right until the shoe reached my nose. Getting punched in the face by Horse is enough to knock most out. I was not an exception. This was a blessing in disguise, though. Since I was knocked out, I didn't have to be conscious when the knives entered my neck. Queen of Diamonds. Dog will take control of powerful fighters using the Tamer Whip. Mouse needs to be nearly aware of her limited physical ability. If she can utilize the group's main advantage, numbers, she won't be able to prevent defeat. The key is not to engage physically, but to challenge Dog on his own term. Das habe ich schon gewusst sogar. Ha! Oh, ich habe die Karte. Yay! Ich habe es verständigt. Das freut mich. Das wusste ich schon. Habe ich sonst was, wo ich noch weiterarbeiten kann? Nee, ich glaube, das sind alle Entscheidungen, die getroffen werden können, nicht wahr? Ja. Und noch kann ich gamblen. Okay. Ich mach mal die restlichen auch nochmal, warum nicht? 1-6. I'd start with a bluff. Doc hesitated. To call, not to call. What the hell? I'm calling you bluff. You don't have a 6. He showed his dice, and he didn't have a 6. I showed my dice, and I didn't have a 6. Looks like I got the first hit in. Yay me. As a loser, I had to discard one of my die. Now I just had one left. Time to roll again. And like that, we made our fateful rolls. I was super duper focused on my die, willing it to be good. Be a high number, be a high number. Was it 2? Damn it. Doc, on the other hand, had 2 dice to work with. Against my measly 1, that was a huge advantage. And to make it worse, once more I had to make an offer first. So what was my move? I had to bluff if I wanted to win. A 4 seemed like a decent bluff. 1-4. 1-4? Oh, too bad. 3 4s. Was he serious? Call? I shot my 2. He scowled. So that's how it is. He revealed his hand, showing 2 4s. Doubles again? Annoyed, he tossed his die to the side. Suddenly it was an even game. Looks like this is final roll. Quiet. Doc was suddenly amused. He looked serious. Of course he was serious. This would all be decided with one roll. We made a final roll. And I rolled a 4. Not bad. Not too bad. But he made a starting offer. With a grin, Doc looked at me. 1-5. 1-5? Shit. It looked like I was dead. But could I still put it back? Okay. 1-6 oder Call? 1-5. Die Sache ist... Call. My only hope was that he was starting with a strong early buff. I call you. Wrong choice. He lifted his hand, revealing that he had indeed rolled a 5. Natürlich. Looks like you lost, Mouse. Hate to say it, but you gotta toss away the last die of yours. And it was that. Geht's weiter, wie sonst auch immer? Ja, ich erschießen. Okay. Was, wenn ich jetzt hier und dann auf Call 1-6 sage? There was a slight possibility that this could work. 1-6. Call. Well, shit. Okay, ab da habe ich sowieso verloren. Okay, ab da habe ich verloren. Da habe ich ja von gut gespielt sogar. Da habe ich von gut gespielt dann. Sehr gut. Okay. Sonst noch was, das ich ändern könnte, bevor ich hier lang gehe weiter? Ich glaube, das war's, soweit ich weiß. Okay. Ich gucke mal weiter. Oh, warte. Oh, warte. War ich da schon? War ich da schon? War ich da schon? Ah, okay. Because of that, no one to speak first. Because of that, no one to speak first. Time flew by. Eventually we realized, das war ein bisschen danach, als wir entschieden haben, dass wir wählen müssen, also uns, so gesagt, gerichtlich entscheiden müssen. Wie bei Your Turn to Die. Und da wurde Sheep zuerst gewählt, weil 3 für sie gestimmt haben. Eventually we realized that the cycle was getting close to being finished. We shall probably stop voting. I'll go first. Without much more conversation, Dog entered the bathroom. When he was gone, however, the conversation reignited. That dog just does whatever the fuck he wants to, huh? I can't trust someone like that. I've been thinking about it, and I really think he might be the traitor. He was outside the library group when the dead people had their tablets taken away, and he was supposed to vote dragon in the first cycle. As Bunny started to say that, Dog exited the restroom and Bunny entered. From there we cycled in and out of fairly silent. And then the cycle ended. And once again, a dreaded tablet announcement played. With a total of three prayers, the great draconic gods have heeded the group's wishes and strike down Dog. What? The normally disinterested Dog's eyes shut open. A look of panic and fear spread across his face. It looked like he had more to say, but before another word could exit his mouth, he began to dance a familiar death. I couldn't bear to watch it again. It was always utterly horrifying. I only turned back around when I heard the thud of a body hitting the floor. Bunny picked up the tablet and started interacting with it. Arrogant bastard, will you then start coming? Did you just chuckle at someone dying? What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't get too offended, you mouse. I don't think many of us are going to be mourning him. What do you mean? Take a look at his tablet. His personality is defeated. Wait, so that means we finally hit a traitor. A wave of relief led my heart. Thank God. I shouldn't be feeling this good about someone dying, but I couldn't help myself. For once, a death wasn't in vain. Right after the initial joy, I turned to being puzzled. I mean, yeah, I would for Dog, but he was really the type to kill this many people just to get his way? What could have motivated him so much to drive a man to commit such acts? Was it all in the name of self-preservation? When I was hung up on this, the rest of the group celebrated. Hell yeah! We finally got on! I knew something was off with the fucker. For the record, who actually voted for him? I sure as hell did. I also voted for him. I voted for Dog. I see. You were all convinced. Well, we were right, weren't we? I guess that's true. Dog must have been the one behind Dog's death. He likely lied about who he voted for in the second cycle, and he was also probably the one who collected the tablets of the dead people. Crafty little bastard, isn't he? Indeed. While he was forced into unfortunate circumstances, I cannot condone his actions. Still, I will pray for his soul. Hopefully, his actions, brought on by this cruel heart of a boy, can be forgiven. Well, I won't. Fuck him, and fuck anyone who tries to step to the Slugger Queen. So what now? Huh? Surely you all didn't forget that there are 2 traitors. Just because one is dead doesn't mean things are over. Shit, you're right. Not necessarily. Huh? Think about it. We didn't know the personality of a number of the deceased. We theorized it was possible, but we never got confirmation that the 2 traitors contact each other. That idea actually sounds fairly far-fetched. It's very possible that in all the hubbub ich mag das Wort. In all the hubbub of what's happening, the other traitor is already dead. But how likely is that? Well, think about it. If both were alive, don't you think there would be more moves? Ever since Snake's death, all the votes have been entirely explainable. 3 haven't really been any liars or anything. There haven't really been any liars or anything. Yeah, that's all well and good, but we don't actually know that they're dead. Are we supposed to just take it out in faith? What's the other option? Start killing each other and hope the traitor's still alive? That seems like a recipe for pointless slaughter. Guys, I have a great idea. What? We just have to tie again. Das Plan again. No, trust me, it will work this time. There's only 5 of us left, which means anyone breaking from the plan will be super obvious. Mouse is totally right. Mouse and myself can vote for Horse. Horse and Dragon can vote for me. And Monkey can vote for no one. If we do this, hopefully no one will die. A clever plan. I suppose this makes sense. Wette. We also need to input this one's actions. Grimly enough, with all the deaths and mind triggers we have now are enough. Let's spread them out and activate them. Yeah! So we each took a hold of Minor Trinket and took turns entering the restroom to use their tablets. I used my Minor Trinket and prayed for Horse's death. Was? Okay. Was? Ich war so, was? Of course, I didn't actually pay for that, but that's the button I pressed on my tablet. This was the first time I actually went into one of those things confident. There were too few people out of a trader trying to make a move. In fact, the other trader was probably dead. Nothing to worry about. By the end of the cycle, we were all gathered around the cafeteria. We heard the television announcing the round's results. However, it was drowned out by the announcement on the tablets. With a total of 3 prayers, the great draconic gods have heeded the group's wishes and strike down Horse. What? How is? Horse's face scrunched up in a look of determination. I knew what was about to happen. I turned around once more. My mind was too clouded with despair to figure out what had happened. It took longer for the thought to come than usual, but a thought did come. Horse died just like the rest of them. 4 were left. What the fuck? What the fog? How the hell did this happen? No, I thought this was over. This is certainly unexpected. Monkey, the traitor's gotta be you. What? Then your hair. House got 3 votes. You must have voted alongside Bunny and Mouse and kill him. There has to be some sort of other explanation. How? Maybe a dead person's tablet was used. Seriously? We would have seen it if someone took an extra tablet with them, and there are no tables in the bathroom. What a desperate excuse. Then it was Dragon. Huh? Playing coy, the stand maneuver flyers. Instead of voting for Bunny, like she said, she voted for Horse. There, simple as that. No way, it's me. Stop trying to pin the blame elsewhere. I'm just looking for the most logical explanation. The most logical explanation is that you did it. Everyone shut up. I shouted them with all the emotion I had been holding up. They turned to me and looked disturbed by my outburst. I didn't care. We had enough with the traitor and their shit. I'm sick and tired of this. The traitor is obvious. Warte, wer hat nochmal für wen gewotet? Bunny macht keinen Sinn an sich. Weil Bunny sollte für Horse stimmen. Hat auch getan. Aber Dragon? Ich will bei Dragon sicher gehen, dass sie betrogen wird. It's definitely Dragon. The fuck? Are you being serious right now? Horse was just executed. What explanation could there be? Obviously, it was that bitch Monkey's doing. No, I don't buy that. Why the hell not? She's been shady all game. Perhaps. But I know her better than anyone here. She's been my therapist for a long time, and I know she couldn't do something like this. The fuck? You're seriously buy that? I believe in more than a violent gang leader like you. You've been quick to orchestrate group votes, quick to start fights, quick to find any reason to kill. I'm sorry to say, Dragon, but I agree with Mouse. As do I. Well, from my point of view, your guilt is confirmed. You shouldn't have been so sloppy with your final moves. That's your criticism? What the hell? Mouse, you fucking moron, you're gonna get us all killed. Try to think about things for half a second, would ya? No, I'm sick and tired of you lying to me. Come on, guys, let's vote this witch dead for good. And I angrily walked off to the restroom. We had enough. I had enough of these games. I was going to vote her out. I took out my tablet, and I felt blood leave the right side of my neck. No, leave is still kind of a word. Spurt out, like a gusher. Why? I had been stabbed in a clean in out motion. By what? By who? How would I know I'm dead? 5 of Hearts. The one with the victorious personality is very sly. The game is one built for the long game. The fewer people left, the easier it will be for them to blitz a victory. Mouse must see through people's facades and let logic guide her. Ah, ich wusste es! Okay, das habe ich nicht erwartet. Ich dachte, ich würde noch weiterkommen damit und dann am Ende verlieren. Haha. Mal gucken, wie sieht's aus. Oh wow, wir haben erst 8 von 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 21, 32, 36, 40, 52. Ja, we're working on it. Wir arbeiten dran. Oh Gott, okay. Ich danke wie immer fürs Zugucken und wir sehen uns beim nächsten Mal bei The Zodiac Trial, wo wir vielleicht noch mehr Karten bekommen. Yay! Tschüss!